Next item, please.
Should be item 2. An ordinance authorizing the mayor upon receipt of payment, and, I'm sorry, there has been a request to withdraw item 2, so.
All right. Item 2 is withdrawn.
Okay.
Item 3.
Item 3, an ordinance repealing ordinance number 22-40, providing the creation of the City of Birmingham Retention Incentives for Success and Expansion Program, and replacing it with an ordinance providing the creation of the City of Birmingham Retention Incentives for Success and Expansion Program. Again, this is an item of permanent operation, and you see to pass it today.
I move for EC.
Okay.
Smitherman and Moore.
Councilmember Abbott.
Aye.
Councilmember Clark.
Aye.
Councilmember Moore. Councilmember Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilmember Tate. Councilmember Williams. Council President Pro Tem Alexander. Council President O'Quinn.
Aye.
All right. Motion on the item.
Second.
All right. So, Council Williams, I think you're
Yeah, so-
amongst several that have
Yeah,
questions.
so this never went through committee, and I don't think that a council member asked for this legislation to come up. So what's going on?
Yes, sir. We can withdraw. It's just changing some of the terms of the RISE program.
Okay, because we never got a red line, so we don't know what it's actually changing either. So
Jim Stanley's here if you want him to speak to it,
Well,
but if it's not, it's fine.
It needs to go through committee instead of just random ordinances on the agenda.
Okay.
So I have a motion to send it to economic development.
Second.
All right. A motion and a second, and we're ready for the vote.
So, all right, 1 second. Free form. Then we're going to economic development.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Okay. Next item, please.
Give me 1 second here. Let's see, we should be at 7. Item 7, a resolution amending resolution number 272-23 adopted by the council on February the 21st, 2023, authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement between the City of Birmingham and the Board of Trustees of the University of Alabama for the University of Alabama at Birmingham, under which UAB will implement the If I Had a Hammer's pre-apprenticeship program in Birmingham City Schools.
Move the item.
Second.
Phillips, O'Quinn, and Smitherman. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, Councilor Abbott.
Funding source?
This is ARPA District 5.
It could have said that.
And I think, all of these items from item 7 through, I think it's 22 or so, are previously approved by the council, and they're all ARPA items. They're just a correction to
Oh, yeah,
the
these are the
term.
corrections of the terms.
Yes.
Got it. But the rest of them have a funding source, and strangely, this one doesn't.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, we're ready.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Please note my abstention.
Got an abstention, Councilor Williams.
All right. That item is approved. Next item, please.
All right, 1 sec, please.
Item 12.
Item 12. Item 12, a resolution amending resolution number 868-23, adopted by the council on May the 2nd, 2023, authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement between the City of Birmingham and Neighborhood Housing Services of Birmingham Incorporated, under which the city will provide funding for the Healthy Housing Initiative program in an amount not to exceed $800,000 to correct the term of the resolution to a term to end on or before December the 31st, 2025.
Move the item.
Second.
Any discussion on this item?
Just one question. Can we get a little bit of information about this program, or is this annual?
This funding source is ARPA.
Oh, okay.
I think what we'll do is look forward to continue to find more ways to support housing, affordable housing in our community. And this is an organization that's been at the table for a considerable amount of time that's going to make an impact with these funds.
What districts, like, where is this gonna happen?
Ms. Councilor Clark, is it fair to say all?
Can you just go sit?
So District 4 and District 9.
Okay,
Not all, I apologize. 4 and 9.
that's awesome. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
All right,
we're ready for the vote.
all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Clerk, please note my abstention, thank you.
All right, item 12 is approved. Next item is item 20.
All right. Item 20, a resolution amending resolution number 152-24, adopted by the council on January the 30th, 2024, authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement between the city of Birmingham and the Board of Trustees of the University of Alabama for the University of Alabama at Birmingham in an amount not to exceed $50,000, under which the board will continue to provide the existing arts and educational program in the University of Alabama at Birmingham Ellis Stevens Center to introduce and expose students in Birmingham City Schools to everything from internationally acclaimed dance companies, classical musicians, and Grammy Award-winning artists at no cost to the youth in the underserved communities to address economic disparities exacerbated by the COVID pandemic, to correct the term of the resolution to a term to end on or before December the 31st, 2025.
We have the item.
Second.
Any discussion on this item? We are ready for the vote.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Please note my abstention.
Item 20 is approved.
All right. It's like going to 34.
32.
We take 32 off.
Do we have an answer on that one yet? Okay, all right, go ahead.
Yes, I apologize. We mentioned it.
thought
We
we
just
mentioned
kept it off.
roofing.
We said the roof.
In the pre-council, and mention roofing.
Yeah.
So item 32 was removed from the consent agenda. We had a question on it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Councilor Abbott got the roofing.
Yeah, we just forgot to put it back on.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's just go ahead and deal with it.
You want to call it up?
Right, because we didn't put it back on the consent agenda.
Okay. Item 32, a resolution accepting the lump sum proposal of Protector America Southeast LLC, Irondale, Alabama, in the amount of $4,219 for the Birmingham Crossplex. This being the lowest responsible and responsive proposal submitted, and authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Protector America Southeast LLC, substantially the form contained within the proposal documents and in accordance with said proposal, providing that the total compensation payable under the contract not exceed the appropriation.
I move approval.
All right, any discussion? We're ready for the vote.
Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Item 32 is approved. Item 34, please.
All right, item 34, a resolution accepting the bid of community initiatives in the amount of $130,350 for the implementation of an integrated violence intervention program under the Community Safety Initiatives Immediate Response Action Plan. This being the lowest responsible and responsive bid submitted, and authorize the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement with the community initiatives in substantially the same form contained within the bid documents in accordance with said bid, providing that the total compensation payable under the agreement not exceed the appropriation.
I move approval.
Do you want to do all of these at the same time?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
I don't remember this coming before Budget and Finance either, unless My committee members, remember? I don't think it did.
Do we want to read 35,
Yes,
36, and 37?
Yes, if you don't mind.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, could you also, we'll consider items 34 through 37 altogether, so if you could read 35, 36, and 37, please.
All right, item 35, a resolution accepting the bid of Institute of Research for Social Justice in Action in the amount of $700,000 for the implementation of community practitioner certification and transforming communities through effective violence intervention strategies program under the Community Safety Initiatives Immediate Response Action Plan. This being the lowest responsive bid submitted and authorized the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement with Institute of Research for Social Justice and Action is substantially the form contained within the bid documents and in accordance with said bid, providing the total compensation payable under agreement and not exceed the appropriation. Item 36, a resolution accepting the bid of National Institute of Criminal Justice Reform in the amount of $302,418 for the design, implementation, and refinement of the City of Birmingham's gun violence reduction strategy and community violence intervention ecosystems under the Community Safe Initiatives Immediate Response Action Plan. This being the lowest responsible and responsive bid submitted and authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement with the NICJR and substantially the form contained within the bid documents in accordance with said bid, providing that the total compensation payable on the agreement not exceed the appropriation. Item 37, a resolution accepting the bid of Trajectory Changing Solutions LLC and the amount of $700,000 for the implementation of a comprehensive community violence intervention program on the Community Safe Initiatives Immediate Response Action Plan. This being the lowest responsible and responsive bid submitted and authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement with Trajectory Changing Solutions LLC and substantially the same form contained within the bid documents in accordance with said bid, providing that the total compensation payable under the agreement not exceed the appropriation. And we'd like the same motion in second.
Yes. Okay, so I believe the council would like some presentation, explanation of what we're doing with these 4 items.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. At this time, I will have Uche Bean come in and give a high level, as well as the organizations who are receiving funding are also present to come up with her if any additional questions are needed directly to the organizations receiving the funds. I'll just say this at a high level. I know for the last 2 years, well beyond Councilor Tate being chairwoman of this Public Safety Committee, speaking with you all individually related to the toolbox of addressing and decreasing violence in our city. As we move beyond just enforcement, when we talk about reentry efforts, and particularly what's presented to you today, when we talk about prevention efforts, those things collectively combined, this has been a priority to the mayor's office and the city council's office, especially to the Public Safety Committee. And so we're happy to present this before you today. Truthfully, as we know, things like this usually go before 2 committees, but from the time where we're under, this could only go before the Public Safety Committee. And so we do want the Finance Committee to know, B&F Budget and Finance Committee, to know what's before them as it relates to the detail of how we're deploying these ARPA dollars, and then the detail for all of you all related to these organizations and what they'll be doing with these funds to help us decrease gun violence in our city. With that, Ms. Bean.
Yes, good morning, city councilors. How are you all doing? My name is Uche Bean, and I serve as the Director of Community Safety Initiatives, and I'm here to answer any questions. What I will say to begin is in October, I did present to the Public Safety Committee the immediate action response plan in response to the mass shooting that took place in 5 Points South. And the goal of this plan was to look at gun violence from a public health perspective and look at other opportunities as a complement to law enforcement to begin working to mitigate these issues. And so this is what you have before you today. We did put out an RFP to make it fair for not only national organizations that do this work, but also local community members to participate. And behind me, I have the Offender Alumni Association, who manages our hospital violence intervention program, which is in UAB Trauma. And with the help of UAB Trauma and UAB Emergency Department, we're looking to implement these hospital violence intervention program in our emergency room. So that's why they're here, and they were the winners of the bid of that part of our violence intervention work.
Just to add a highlight, Mr. President and Council, when we started our hospital-based prevention program, the whole idea was, can we decrease retaliation? Can we slow down and or prevent those who were victims of gun violence from when they're discharged from either being shot again and or worse, shooting someone in retaliation for shooting them. And we're happy to say that program has had high success. What we realize is you got to get this program to the folk who are being shot and then literally immediately being discharged instead of admitted, which is possibly at a higher rate or at a
Yes.
high number. I don't know the percentage, but those who are being shot and discharged right away instead of being admitted, there's a gap in services as it relates to still the potential for retaliation. So we're missing an entire cohort of folk who are being sent to the hospital but immediately being discharged. So this expansion is something we're looking forward to, because you have to get those folk, we have to get to those people, residents, folk in our town who are not being admitted but also victims of gun violence, and finding out what led or caused that interaction, and making sure we provide the wraparound resource piece for them as well, so they don't go back out here, be shot again, or retaliate. Did I miss anything with that?
No, that is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Council Williams?
So we've already given allocation to the hospital,
Right, item
Intervention.
24.
right? Okay, and so now I'm confused as to what's going on. So what is the Institute of Research for Social Justice in Action specifically going to be doing?
Yes, sir. So in October, I presented a immediate response action plan, and the goal was to fill some gaps that we felt that we needed when it came to community violence intervention. And so one part of it was an expansion of our hospital violence intervention program inside of UAB Trauma, and to expand it into our emergency room department. The other part was to create street teams that would do violence intervention work to help get the community to understand the interactions between both the police and other community members, and to calm conflict in communities. And so they'll be doing that work and building infrastructure around that in specific areas. And NICJR will be implementing a gun violence reduction strategy with our police department to identify those that are most at risk for committing violent crime or being victims of violent crime. So all of these are working together really collaboratively to identify high-risk individuals in our community, again, that are at risk for either being the perpetrators of violent gun crime or the victims of that same crime.
Okay, so the Institute of Research for Social Justice in Action is doing this, the
They're going to be doing the One Hood program, which
what?
One Hood program, it identifies high-risk individuals and pulls them from the street and enters them into a program, workforce development, training, just to get them off of the streets from doing the violent crime that they might have participated in.
Wait, so we're gonna take someone that's doing violent crime and pull, what?
No, these people might have had previous charges or might have done things that were, not really great for the community, and they are pulling them. So high-risk individuals. So they're entering them into job programming, mentorship programming, just changing the trajectory of their lives.
Okay, and then so, okay, that's wild. Anyway, what's Trajectory Changing Solutions LLC specifically doing?
They'll be doing the street outreach work.
What's the difference between street outreach and the other thing you just
One,
mentioned?
so the street outreach team, if you
This is a
will,
lot of money.
it is, and it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that your colleagues want us to spend it on, because this is literally a request from the majority of the council members on this dais right now to deploy street teams. The street teams, the difference between the street teams is that you actually have individuals on the ground who have either been incarcerated, who have been victims of gun violence themselves, and or people who understand what's happening in our streets, literally to deploy team members on the ground to engage post or before retaliation increases or post when there's been an actual shooting. These people are necessary in addressing gun violence in a rapid way, one. Two, making sure they can connect with that third-party organization that you mentioned, Acting the Difference, so resources can get to them. We can wrap our arms around them, and then let's get to the next step of decreasing violence, decreasing retaliation, and or getting people off the streets.
So this is part of the hospital intervention, or this is separate?
It's separate. You have 3 different items before you that we're speaking to, so it's separate. But it's the toolbox, as I mentioned earlier. It's additional tools around prevention, and it's additional tools around reentry efforts.
Okay. Is there any way that we could get some sort of metrics to see if this, I feel like we voted on a lot of things like this, and I'm not really sure if they're working. So is there any way that we could get some type of metric around this to see, is this $700,000 company doing what they need to do? Is this $700,000 company doing what they need to do?
Yes, and let me also clarify, Counselor Williams, the money is not just going to that company. They're providing technical training and technical assistance, and the goal is to build infrastructure here locally with an organization that will actually use the money for operations. So that money is assigned to them, but the goal is to essentially recycle it back into Birmingham with a local organization that will provide those services. So it's not just going to that organization and then that's it. This is operations, this is paying people to do that work, etc.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Councilor Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I, like my colleague, would like to, know metrics as well. I think when you got an opportunity to come to the Public Safety Committee, one of the things that I asked about is, the amount of people that are actually coming into the hospital versus those that aren't necessarily making it, and just trying to be able to compare those numbers to be able to know how many people we're actually helping. And I've, said before, I'm not the strongest supporter of the hospital link piece only because I don't want to see us, provide intervention at the point where, people are like hurting the most. I'm actually a supporter of this street outreach team. I actually like to be able to see, folks who have gone through these things, who can build the relationships and, know the nooks and crannies that we don't know about, and can actually, reach the folks that we can't reach. And so definitely understand, my colleague stating that it's a lot of money, but I think that it's well worth it to be able to have that in place, especially when you consider how much we lose when negative publicity about our city goes out as well, right? People playing, things that have happened here, all over the country and saying, well, shoot, I don't think it would be good for us to move a business here or for us to, to move in that area. I think it costs us more by not having something like this in place. And so just to kind of, wrap a bow on it, I would love to be able to have those numbers about how many people we actually have in our hospital-linked violence intervention program, as well as, the ones who aren't necessarily able to make it because they pass away from gun violence. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Moore. Councilor Abbott.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to ask, who in the city is interfacing with these 4 organizations?
It'll be Uche Bean and my office, who they'll report to. We'll do it like everything else. They'll have to come before the Public Safety Committee and provide updates as well. And then whether it's through committee and or through just email or any other form of information, providing you information quarterly. I think they have to get on the ground and and get situated for a while. So data points or data sets as it relates to results will probably take a while, but that's like any other program. Consider when you all just approve a considerable amount of funding for street outreach team for our homeless community as well. It's a similar situation where they just got deployed, and so results probably won't be in the immediate first 30 days, but giving them time to be in a position to track what they're doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. First point of contact is OJ Bean, my office. We have worked very closely with your colleague, Latanya Tate, and so information through her committee, as well as any other information communication channel you want to receive, an email, committee of the whole, however you so please. That's what we'll do.
Okay, so the contract management is done by you.
Yes, ma'am. I have a team that is dedicated to it that also provides data. We do analysis of the data, and we have program managers inside of my team as well.
Okay, and do they have any interface with the police department? Or is the police department just out there doing their thing and y'all are doing your thing?
Well, we like to think of ourselves as a complement to law enforcement, but part of what you also see listed on here is a gun violence reduction strategy, and we're working directly with the police department on that.
Okay, and the local groups that are being left behind after these people have finished doing their contract, do we know who they are yet, or we're going to find them?
We're going to find them. We have a lot of organizations that already do this work, and so we're looking to infuse the training and technical assistance into those groups so that Birmingham can have the infrastructure and ecosystem to push this work, for generations. It doesn't stop.
Okay, and so this $2 million is going to these 4 organizations, and then the local groups that are trained and left behind,
Will
is the
receive.
plan to fund them in the future also?
Let me chime in here. I want to be careful with some of the language that we're using. The organizations already exist, Councilor Abbott, so not necessarily left behind. What we see is, and what we've seen is, a lot of organizations have their way of doing things. We're approaching this from a strategic umbrella standpoint, if you will, where anybody we partner with can receive the exact same training and the exact same resources. So we're in the best position to track how they engage and report back to you as well as the community as a whole. What we believe will happen once these resources are not only deployed but replenished, the organizations who are already doing the work will have had enough technical training, enough technical assistance, and enough repetition of how they engage to continue their work moving forward prior to partnering with the city and or prior to partnering with the third-party organization. And post then, I think we're in the best position to see what happens next based on the deliverables and the outcomes of our ability to reduce violence to tell you what's next.
Okay, so I left behind, I didn't mean they were left behind.
I got you.
But remaining in the community, we'll say. So that's, I think those were all my questions. Thank you.
Okay. Council Clark.
Well, I just want to compliment the administration and Uche on, starting first with a strategy, and then, you did brief us all on it. It's just been so many months. So
Yes,
maybe that one pager with a couple of bullets to remind us, because I remember distinctly sitting down with you. I just don't remember what the strategy was, but that's on me. But yeah, so keep us, help us keep the overall where we're going in mind, because
Absolutely.
you did make all the stops. And I know it takes a lot of time to get this stuff actually rolling out. I was just wondering, I know we made the first big investment with the health department on the Javi that led to OAA being, the service provider. Is this add-on piece going to be coordinated closely with the health department? Okay.
Yes, in conjunction with both UAB Trauma, like I said, OAA is behind me. UAB Trauma, UAB Emergency Department, and the Health Department have been partners as we move forward on this strategy of how to implement it inside of the emergency room.
Okay.
So they will still continue their work in the UAB Trauma, where our patients are, brought into the hospital and they're there for however many days it takes for them to heal. But we're also looking at what it looks like in our emergency room when people are treated and treated. So they will continue their work in trauma and expand their work into the ED.
Okay. And the mayor alluded to like the Urban Alchemy Street team, and I know they had a soft launch because I saw them, when they were leaving Lynn Park, and we have a lot of homeless people around my workplace. And so I was able to, talk to them. They looked great. They had their little iPads collecting data. How much do you think these, the street teams you're activating here will do cross collaboration with the other street teams that
I think there's a lot of
around the
opportunity
homeless?
for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had conversations with Urban Alchemy. I actually went to Los Angeles to go and see the operations of Urban Alchemy when we were talking about launching violence reduction street teams and street outreach workers. And so I think that there'll be a lot of cross collaboration when it comes to public safety in Birmingham.
Okay, because I can speak to my own, my own late nephew who had mental illness, lived on the street, and committed his share of crimes, not gun violence, but, activity. So,
The cross collab, here's the cross collab where those worlds intersect. There's an element in the community that unfortunately preys on some of our homeless neighbors. They somehow are still in a position to sell and or provide drugs to our homeless neighbors. And so on one hand, you got the enforcement piece where we got to find those people who are selling drugs in our homeless community. But on the other hand, you got to find resources to collaborate with and support those who are homeless. And how do we get them off the street? And what does that look like? And so, and the work is all like connecting, even with these street outreach teams, because they'll be in partnership with our police too. Intel, investigations, etc. All those things are critical to arresting the people we need to arrest, while at the same time providing resources to people we need to provide resources to. And you have to do them both. It can't be one or the other.
I guess my last question is, will we be able to help people get good access to mental health services? Because it's just
So that is our hope and desire. I think all of us have spent a lot of time in this space now to know that that's still what's called a missing middle, right? That requires a considerable amount of resources. I think what you'll see us do in collaboration and partnership with the organizations that are doing the work is to continue to engage the professional people who provide services. What does a partnership look like? Because we know there's a cost. We know there's a cost that's prohibitive to a lot of individuals. So is there something we can do from an organizational level? I'm defining organization is just something the city can do with tax dollars, or is that more in collaboration and partnership with the private organizations? Can we find additional funding source that exists beyond our ARPA dollars that we've exhausted and or our tax dollars if they can't be provided as a direct benefit to a citizen? Then what does a private-private or public-private or public-public partnership look like as it relates to more additional resources for mental health? We started with our school system in partnership with them, but we know we got to get these resources to adults in our community as well.
okay. And and I don't want to keep going on, but I think the opioid settlement funds, which I feel like y'all are really focused on that, but it's like all connected. And so I think tying it together as much as we can so that we can measure and create more impact. And I feel like we have some resources. I don't know if they're at the table through JBS and UAB Community Care, because you know, they were a difference maker for my nephew, who is now gone, but he was able to get a once-a-month antipsychotic shot at the UAB Community Care that would have cost, we never could have afforded that shot if he couldn't get access through UAB Community Care, which he got by going to the fellowship house, and then they put him in with JBS and community care. But I'm just saying, there's services out there, but how to get in them is mystifying for the average person. And, you know, I don't know how you get a referral system worked out with some of the agencies that exist, but I think it's worth pursuing. I'm just going to throw it out
In
there.
an ideal world, I think Uche can speak to this. Look, in our legal world, Ms. King can speak to this too. The pro bono piece is extremely important about, you know, separating apart from our professional life of how we make receiving income. There's also a piece you give out in the form of services at no cost. In this clinician world and other professional aspects of mental health, I think part of the partnership is to see is there a collective umbrella organization and or individual organizations we can pull in, or the individual professionals that we can pull in. What does a pro bono piece look like in assisting with this, and then getting to, you know, these folks still have to make a living. There's time, so these services can't be free for all people in all times, in every session, et cetera, et cetera. So again, just getting to the point of how do we get folk connected with the organizations who provide services, the individuals who provide services, and then what does an actual plan around funding look like, which is going to require more than the city council and the mayor's office to figure that piece out.
All right, Pro Tem Alexander?
Yes, thank you very much. I did want to echo on comments by several counselors. I'm grateful for the oversight and the management that is being included in each of these projects. And so I'm excited about seeing that, as well as administration bringing these forward. And thank you, Councilor Tate. I know you've worked diligently to be sure we have good items, effective items included in that toolbox. I do just want to ask, Mr. President, I know data collection takes time. It takes time to get people on the boots on the ground and get the work done. Would it be too much if we could ask maybe at least by the beginning of the third or second quarter, we have some type of timely reports back either to public safety or community of the whole? Would that be a
Absolutely.
problem?
Yeah.
At least by the end of the second quarter of the year, that will move us into
Yeah.
June.
Mr. President, to Madam Pro Tem's question, I think what you'll see, we'll continue to work closely with Councilor Tate, Chairwoman, and I think by April 1st, first 90 days on the ground, we'll be able to provide some detail, what is, what's not, what are the gaps, what we've been able to deploy, how much money's going out, training, et cetera, et cetera. So I think April 1 is realistic, but prior to April 1, April 1 won't be the first time we're communicating with the chair, if that makes any sense.
Makes sense to me. Thank
Okay.
you.
Counselor Smitherman?
Thank you. I feel like I already know the answer. With the hospital-based program, is there like a social worker on call or anything like that?
So I do want to make it clear, it's hospital linked. The base would be actually in the hospital. It's a linked program. We're working through a lot of different logistics, but UAB actually has social workers already in the hospital, and so Our conversation with UAB Emergency Room is that those social workers, the staff that is in the ED, will be trained on our violence intervention list being
Okay, great.
housed in the ED. And so they'll be making the referrals to make sure that all of our gunshot wound victims are aware of the available resources.
That's good. I think in the very beginning when we started working on this, you know, a lot of times people would get shot and then we would put them back into the environment with no resources and they feel like they didn't have a way out, that they had to go back to the same environment, do the same thing over and over again. And I'm really happy to see this and the other projects coming together because as Mayor Woodfin and Councilor Ted said, it's a toolbox. It's reentry, prevention, is it response, maybe? And so I think at this point, we're addressing all three. And so I'm really happy to see how Birmingham will change in the next year or two, because we've seen with Boston doing the same thing. Was a miracle there. They hardly ever have any murders. Newark, where Councilor Tate went, you know, I knew as a child, one of the most dangerous cities in the country. They're doing better, Baltimore, et cetera. So I'm hoping and praying that, you know, in the next 5 years that Birmingham can change its reputation around. But I want to say thank you, Uche, because I know you and Brandon Johnson, wherever he is, y'all have been doing research for 5 years. I know I want to commend you for your perseverance. Mayor Wolf, I want to thank you because I know I personally talked to you about the street outreach team, because I think we need a middleman because we're not getting to people. I have a friend who's doing the HEAT program and, you know, very successful Black woman, et cetera. But she said, we need people who have been through the life to talk to these kids, because us talking to them, that's okay, I'm just getting out of class to hear something. But to tell somebody, you don't have to go to this doesn't have to be your life, I'm excited to hear that, and to be able to connect to people. So I think, you know, with gun violence, a lot of people don't realize it's not just, you know, people shooting people. It has to be a realistic approach. So, and Councilor Tate, thank you for your work. You've been working on this all three and a half years you've been on the council. So I'm excited to see how Birmingham will change behind this.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Counselor Tate.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I just want to thank the mayor because we had a lot of conversations, and I'm just really going to tell you guys, and even with you guys, it wasn't easy, you know, trying to get the mindset changed. People are looking for quick results, and that's just not what you're going to get here. What I would highly recommend to my colleagues is, on my journey, I learned the difference between a base and a link, and we didn't have the base, we had the link. So it's several robust programs out here that's working. I would highly recommend you guys to go to Grady and visit that hospital. They have a base program because I just believe in all getting, and you get wisdom and understanding when you start seeing stuff in real time. That's how I just operate. I mean, I don't let anybody tell me anything. I go visit, I go see it, I run with it. And what I'm going to highly recommend you all to do is when these programs get off the ground, get in the streets with these people so you can understand. So when your constituents are asking you, what is this? You'll be able to give somebody a robust answer. I saw this in real time. When I went to New York, we actually, during the Community Violence Leadership Academy, it was a 5-month academy. We started in Chicago, met there twice, went to New York. But we went to every organization that was doing work, and all this stuff intersects. All this stuff meet in the middle, intersects. We were able to go to the hospital to see what they were doing in real time. The first 24 hours of somebody being shot is very crucial. You got to get these people when they first enter the hospital. That's you know, and I think I had some conversation with the mayor. I was like, we missing a piece. People are being shot, non-fatal victims are going back in the streets, and we're not capturing those individuals. So one of the things that I saw when I went to New York was that was happening in real time. Dr. Gore, look him up. Dr. Gore is an African-American emergency room doctor. One of the things I really want to just tell you guys, I can't tell you guys what to do, but I would highly recommend that you guys go visit some of these places. Because if you do, you'll get a clear understanding how to build an ecosystem. And I've heard you guys say, and Council Clark said, how do we get people connected? When you start building an ecosystem of organizations and resources, then you build a resource guide where it's distributed to people in the community, then they'll know where to go to get things. Myself and Councilor Smitherman, with our ARPA dollars, invested in mental health counseling. And what I think is missing, and what I would continue to say, is we cannot work in silos, and the comms piece is truly off. Because you got this person over here doing this, you got this person over here doing that, and nobody knows what anybody is doing, and that needs to stop. That really needs to stop. So I'm going to challenge my colleagues. You have the Offender Alumni Association that's here. I heard you guys say, well, I really want to know how it's working and is it working? What's the recidivism rate? They can tell you how many people have retaliated. You got people here in real time that can give you that answer today. They can provide you guys data today. So what I'm going to ask you all to do is to go and get the understanding so you can be able to tell people what this is all about. Because this is not a guessing game. When you're playing with lives, and you're not going to get out of this overnight. But what I can tell you all is Captain Sellers, and I learned this just on my journey. We were in the CVI LA leadership program at the same time. I didn't know that until he told me that. He took the leadership part for the police department. He also went to California when we went to go on the journey to urban alchemy, got to see how that worked in real time. So I really want to say to you all is please go over to Offender Alumni Association, talk to Ms. Deborah Daines and her team, and spend some time with them. Spend some time at UAB Emergency Room. Go take a drive to Grady, and you can really see how this violence reduction work in real time. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, I know I came to you with a big price tag, but I thank you for where we are. And Uche, I can't thank you enough. We had a lot of conversations. We didn't always agree, but we did come to the medium to realize that we got to save lives. And I think we got some great people that are going to be coming here, giving the people in Birmingham the skill set that they need to function, in the community, and lead the people with the skill set that they need to start reducing violence in the city of Birmingham. So I look forward. Thank you, colleagues, Mr. President, Madam Pro Tem, Councilor Smitherman. I know you was deeply involved in this before I came, to this council with Cure Violence. Ms. Abbott, your leadership, Carol, conversations you and I had, Mr. Hunter Williams. Love all of you all, and I thank you all for believing in me and, challenging me. So this is all about holding people accountable, because one thing I did say to the mayor and I said to Uche is, and what we learned on the journey is, those that are doing the work, they hold these people accountable. And we're going to be watching. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilor Tate. Say a few quick things. So, thank you, Mayor, for bringing this forward. It's really exciting to see this. Just for context, the budget that we just approved for the police department, if I'm remembering correctly, it was $109 million. That's on the $100+ million for the police department. That's, doesn't include all of the resources, the equipment and everything that the police department needs to do their job effectively. So this, is a small investment on the prevention side to really start moving an initiative forward that is super important. And, I'll admit, everything that I know about community-based violence intervention, it probably wouldn't take me 60 seconds to say everything in my mind that I know about it. So, but what I do know is that cities that have been implementing these strategies have amazing results. Double-digit reduction in gun violence in a relatively short period of time. I will say that in those cities, they're getting a lot of support from outside of city government. So private sector partners are especially important in, moving beyond the terms of these agreements and helping to support this effort. So, again, this is great to see us taking a big step forward on the prevention side and saving lives. But more than, and saving lives is ultimately the goal. And I want to say also that the Birmingham Police Department has been doing a great job over all of our statistics for crimes. We have had significant reductions in all categories except one, and that's the homicides. So, and this is directly targeting that. And again, the primary objective is saving lives, but this is also a very important investment in economic development for the city of Birmingham. It is, from my perspective, it is challenging to, talk to employers and grow business and grow your economy when they turn on the nightly news and another person has been shot. So, again, the primary objective is saving lives, but this is also an investment in moving our city forward and helping, to provide the jobs, that people need to provide for their families to keep them hopefully out of these situations. So that's a lot, but that's it. And I don't see anybody else. Councilor Tate?
One quick note, Council Clark invested money in the mental health counseling with Brother Let's Talk. Let me not forget that, because they are some of our partners, along with Dr. Nadia Richardson and Black Women Mental Health Institute as well. So we just want to make sure we expand. So I think Uche is, and her team is working on a resource guide as well. So thank you all, appreciate it.
All right, Mr. Clerk. Councilor Abbott.
Just one other thing. I know the President Pro Tem mentioned reporting after a period of time for this to get moving. So the reporting will be quarterly, and it will come. Writing and presentation. Yeah, and I think probably committee of the whole, because as you can see, we hear these things, and if you don't hear anything for another year, you forget that you've heard it sometimes. It sounds familiar, but you don't have details, so we really need reporting to keep it on front of mind instead of having it sink into the abyss. And I know that our Chairman of Public Safety will keep reminding us, but we all need those little refreshers every once in a while of these important issues. So I just want to make sure the reporting part is in here.
And I do want to invite you all, we have a community roundtable meeting weekly. I think you all are on there. Those provide the outside organizations I mentioned earlier. They do give updates on the work that they're currently doing. And so I invite you all to every Thursday. We'll begin at the top of the year with another meeting. So you'll get to interface with a lot of those organizations that are boots on the ground, if you would like to, on Thursday mornings at 9.
Every Thursday?
Every Thursday, yes, ma'am. Or every other Thursday? They changed it to every other Thursday. Okay.
Every other Thursday.
And I'll make sure to send an invite for the top of the year meeting if you all would like to attend.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, we're ready for the vote.
Yeah. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
All right, so items 34 through 37 are approved. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Item 49.
Okay,
Item 49, a resolution setting a hearing on January the 14th, 2025 to consider a temporary moratorium on automated car washes within the city of Birmingham.
move the item.
Second.
Item is before you.
Is there any discussion on this item? We're ready. Now? Okay, all right. So, counselors, you would also see under old and new business, there was an executive session that these two items are related. So, I move that we go into executive session.
Second.
Don't we have to have a recommendation from?
Right, so I'm about to declare it. So under Alabama State Code, Section 3625-7A3, I recommend we go into executive session to discuss potential litigation.
Councilmember Abbott.
Aye.
Councilmember Clark. Aye. Councilmember Moore.
Aye.
Councilmember Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilmember Tate. Councilmember Williams, out. Councilmember Woods, out. I'm sorry. Council President Pro Tem Alexander. Council President O'Quinn.
Aye. Okay, so we will reconvene at the call of the chair.
I hope that room is warmer than it is in here.
Okay, at this time, we will reconvene the council meeting. Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Present.
Councilmember Clark,
She's on her way.
Councilmember Moore,
Good morning.
Councilmember Smitherman. Here. Councilmember Tate. Here. Councilmember Williams. Here. Council President Pro Tem Alexander. Here. Council President O'Quinn.
Present. So, do we have a motion, did we get a motion and
We
a
did.
second on this?
49.
All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready for the vote.
Okay. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Item 49 passes. Item 50, please.
Item 50, a resolution setting a public hearing January the 28th, 2025, to consider the adoption of a resolution attending to the vacation of the following 8,011 square feet of the right-of-way that is located parallel to and between Fifth Avenue North and Sixth Avenue North, and perpendicular to and between 14th Street North and 15th Street North, located at 24 Fifth Avenue North, on behalf of Hallmark ACQ LLC owner, so that the owner can consolidate property. Case number SUB 2024-87. Motion, please.
I move approval.
All right. Any discussion? We're ready for the vote.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
All right. Item 50 passes. Item 51, please.
Item 51. Let's see. A resolution setting a public hearing February the 4th, 2024, to consider the adoption of a resolution essentially to the vacation of the following 114,074 square feet of the right-of-way that is located parallel to and between Fifth Avenue North and Sixth Avenue North, and perpendicular to and between 14th Street North and 15th Street North, located at 2796 South Park Drive, on behalf of Legacy Prep. Owner said that the owner can consolidate property. Case number SUB 2024-88.
Second.
All right. It's moved and second. Any discussion?
Sorry.
We're ready for the vote.
All right, 1 second, please. Williams. Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Item 51 is approved. Item 53, please.
Item 53. Item 53, a resolution appointing 2 members to the Industrial Development Board for a term of 6 years, expiring April the 10th, 2023.
I'll read the.
All right. Second, Council Williams.
The Industrial Development Board is wanting to reappoint David Turner and Darrell Ward. Both are to their expiring terms. Again, there are 6-year terms, and they would expire April of 2023. There were no other applicants other than those reappointments that are already sitting there.
All right. So,
Move the names.
yes, move the names.
All right, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
All right. Item 53 is approved. Item 54 on our addendum.
All right, addendum item 54, resolution appointing 1 member to the Birmingham Jefferson County Transit Authority for a term expiring August the 10th, 2025.
Council, so move that item.
Second.
All right, so council, this is an item to fill a vacancy on the BJCTA Board of Directors, to replace Becky Carpenter, who the term would end August 10th, 2025. And I am recommending the appointment of Michelle Inman. So I move Michelle Inman as the nomination.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
All right, item 54 is approved. Item 55.
All right, item 55, a resolution appointing 2 full-time municipal court judges, place 4 and 5, two part-time municipal court judges, places 1 and 4, and reappointing 2 part-time municipal court judges, places 2 and 3.
All right, move the item. All right, Pro Tem Alexander.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The Administration and Government Affairs Committee is bringing forward the following appointments for the municipal court judge. First is Katrina Ross. She will be replacing Charles Price. And the term expiration, this is a full-time position, will be January 22nd, 2029. Anita Westbury is being appointed from a part-time to a full-time judge, replacing Deborah Montgomery, who retired, and the term expiration would be December 23rd, 2028. We have 4 part-time municipal court judge places. The first appointment is Marika Coleman, will be replacing Anita Westbury, who is moving up to full-time, and that term expiration is December 30th, 2026. The second appointment is Monica Blanding. She'll be replacing Jamiria Moore, who has won a Jefferson County seat, as well as Charles Price, and that term expiration will be January 22nd, 2027. 2 judges are being reappointed. Judge Lee Loader, his term will now be extended or expire December 23rd, 2026, and Michael T. Clark, December 23rd, 2026. I move for approval of these appointments.
Second.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
All right.
Thank you.
Item 55 is approved. That brings us to the end of our all of our agenda items. Announcements, Councilor Clark.
Thank you. Just want to compliment my colleague, Councilor Tate, and thank her for roping me in to her District 8, District 9 community event Saturday. It was amazing. It was great to see all the officers of the neighborhoods and a few from beyond, and the food was great, and the generosity of Black Men United was just beyond belief. It was really just amazing how many really high-quality things they had, and the unlimited supply. You know, there were a lot of people out there waiting in the cold, but everything was made warm by just the love and just the warmth. It was a great way to kick off the holiday season, and I thank her for her vision and for doing all the planning, really. So thank you very much for your vision with that and for dragging me along so I can look good. There are no neighborhood meetings this week, but you can look forward to the Kwanzaa activities. Brother Clarence always puts together a really great week of Kwanzaa activities that start the day after Christmas. The first event, kicking off Umoja, which is Unity. It's going to take place at the Boutwell Auditorium at 6 p.m. Last year it was upstairs at the Boutwell, so it may be upstairs again. And then from there, you can find out everything else going on that week, or you might be able to find the community calendar online, because there are a lot of activities that go up to the beginning of January. That's really all I have to say, other than that I'd like to wish everyone a safe, love-filled, and prosperous holiday season. And I look forward to seeing everyone refreshed and ready to go in 2025.
Thank you, Councilor Clark. Councilor Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. No announcements. Did want to just say thank you to everybody that showed up for the District 4 celebration that we were able to have at the Shield Center. Want to give a special shout out to Tamika Nevels, who planned everything, and Dominique Posey, who performed, and Bells for catering, and Renee Price for Partyology coming through and giving us a photo booth. Yeah. So we had and DJ CJ the Stick Man, who came and DJ, and Santa Claus, Mr. Willie Jenkins, who also came out and celebrated with us, and all of our residents and officers that showed up. Really enjoyed having everybody out. And then I also want to just give an early birthday shout out to my mom, who will be turning years old. So shout out to you. I love you. And I know that she also shares that day with another special mother. And so just want to say happy birthday to both of them and Merry Christmas to everybody. And yeah, hope y'all enjoy y'all holiday season.
Thank you, Councilor Moore. Councilor Abbott?
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, I know nobody's thinking about January, but just in case you are, the next Planning and Zoning Committee meeting is January the 8th at 3:30 p.m. here in the council chambers. There are no neighborhood association meetings this week, and we have 2 holidays in the middle of the week, which is very nice. And the confusion over the garbage pickup will continue, but, you know, eventually people will figure out that if we have a holiday, you know, that what happens, but it's still in that iffy situation right now where people are thoroughly confused about garbage pickup. But I'm so thrilled about twice a month trash and brush that I'm going to let that go. We want people over the Christmas holidays to be sure and report everything via the app instead of calling 311 so those people can get a break. And I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a safe and Merry Christmas. And, you know, don't eat too much. I read an article last night about weight gain over the Christmas holidays, and it's real. So watch it.
All right.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you, Councilor Abbott.
And to the person who gave us these cute little sleighs, that was so sweet.
Yeah.
I don't know who did it, but Stephanie is widely known.
Oh.
Stephanie is
Thank you, Miss
widely
Stephanie.
known for her Christmas spirit, so.
Thank you, Miss Stephanie.
She's the chief Christmas elf. Yeah.
Councilor Smitherman?
Happy holidays.
All right. Short and succinct. Pro Tem Alexander?
I wish I could be that short and succinct, but I'm gonna try to keep this at a minimum. I just wanted to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to my colleagues, to the residents of District 7, to all of the administration and staff that work with us, and to the city of Birmingham. I just hope each family finds in their own way to have a joyous and a very blessed Christmas and a safe, happy New Year, okay? And thank you all so much. Thank you.
All right. Councilor Tate?
I'm like you all echoed. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We haven't got there yet, but Merry Christmas to all of you. Wish all of the constituents in District 9, all the government officials, the administration, public works, everybody that makes this happen for this city. Councilor Clark has already alluded to this, but she was a great partner on Saturday. Really want to thank Miss Janet Maycock, my neighborhood president, for the decor and all of the good food that they had. We missed you Saturday. We missed y'all. We wanted y'all to come break bread with us, but I realized people had some things to do. But also the national partner, Black Men United, who actually came here and bought 45 pallets. We still got 9 left, and we're going to find some things to do, yes, with that. But people were really blessed. They weathered the storm. So again, thank Black Men United for being a spectacular partner. We were also in Smithfield on Friday, so I want to thank Councilor Quinn because we kicked off the inauguration of Heal the Block. So we're going to be blocking in y'all neighborhood as well. So we were able to give 100 families impacted by gun violence. Nice kids. We had fun. We had those kids, y'all, if y'all had saw their face. So it was just amazing. And then we still had some stuff left. And we gave it to BPD for their tour drive to continue to bless, you know, the people in the community. But again, thank Councilor Quinn and Councilor Clark for being some great partners. And that's all. Happy holidays, you all, and don't eat too much. Like Councilor Abbott said, that weight will catch you.
All right, thank you, Councilor Tate. Transportation and Infrastructure Committee that was scheduled this afternoon has been canceled. And please note that there is no council meeting next week. And thank you and Merry Christmas. That's it.
None tomorrow, too.
Right.
Just in case somebody wanted to come up here.
Yes, yeah. Don't come up here tomorrow. There will be nobody here. All right. I want to recognize our officer on duty. This morning we have Officer Suttles from North Precinct. Thank you for being with us. And we are ready, y'all.
I move for adjournment.
Meeting adjourned. We out of here.
I'm wishing each of you a joyful and blessed holiday season. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Birmingham. This is Councilwoman Tate. Want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and all the other holidays that we celebrate at this time. This is a time for joy and peace and love, and I hope that we can keep it that way.
Happy holidays from District 1.
Very happy to be able to celebrate Christmas with the men and women that serve in District 2 and all over the east side of Birmingham.
Happy holidays, Birmingham.
I just want to say happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everybody in District 4. I love you and I appreciate you.
All the residents of Birmingham, and especially the residents of District 8, a very restful, peaceful, and happy holiday season.
Happy holidays. This is a special time of year.